Hello, readers! Welcome back to Reading in the Middle. I'm your host, Annisha Jeffries, librarian, kid-lit advocate, your guide through the wild and wonderful world of middle grade books. Today's episode is a summer daydream you won't want to miss. We're heading to the woods of Maine, where loons call, friendships shift, and one brave girl goes on a journey that will change everything. I'm talking about Loon Cove Summer, the brand new book by author Donna Galanti. It's funny and also packed with real emotions, perfect for readers who love nature, journals, and stories that feel like a warm hug. So grab a marshmallow or two, your bug spray, and maybe a tissue, because this episode is so full of humor, laughter, joy, and a little lake magic. Let's begin. Hi, Donna. Welcome to Reading in the Middle. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on here. I really appreciate it.
I love nature, and I love hiking and canoeing, and I love all of that. And with your writing style, if it were a summer camp activity, what would it be? Canoeing, archery, storytelling around the fire?
Oh, well, I love that you're a nature person so much. And I'm a huge outdoor person. And this is really where the story stemmed from. And so I'm a hiker, a kayaker, I'm a biker. If I could just be in the woods all day long, I would disappear in them for sure. Because as a young girl and an only child, I grew up on a mountain, and that's all I did was roam the woods. That was my playground. And I would climb the trees and sing to the trees and write my stories in the little nooks. It's always been a special place for me.
We used to have a tree in front of our house, and I loved it. I used to hug it. I literally hugged our tree, and I was a tree hugger. I really took it literally, a tree hugger. Tree. I loved it.
I love that.
So Loon Cove Summer is such a wholehearted story. In your own words, what's this book really about, and why did it need to be told now?
What's it about, and why did I feel I needed to tell it now? Is that what you're asking? Yes. So in the story, we have 13-year-old Sarah, who is determined that her life will finally get unstuck this summer, and she's going to brave the lake again, save the loons, stop missing her mom. And she also has a bright spot where she volunteers at a raptor rehabilitation center. But as the summer goes along and we have mishaps, as you know, if you read the book, she fears losing her dad, fears losing the loons, her home, and she decides she must make a big statement. And she plans this solo trek that might end up claiming her life. So we have a little bit of adventure in the story, especially near the end. And I felt like I had to tell this story now. Well, funny enough, I started writing it in 2013, so a long time ago. And I've written many other books and published them along the way, but this story stayed with me because it's so personal to me. And my dad died about a year and a half ago, and he played a big role in this story. Yeah, so it's sad for me that he can't be here to experience it, because the setting of the book is my childhood campground that my parents owned and operated that we lived at in New England. And so he would love to tell stories about it. And I really drew from that setting for this book, along with my love of loons and raptors and hiking, kayaking. It's all in there. And also, it's very personal because my dad and I shared grief over losing my mom. So there's a lot of very personal dialogue and actual things that happened between us in the story. So maybe it's a good thing he can't read it at the moment. Yeah.
Your main character, Sarah, is trying to be brave while dealing with grief and friendship and one really big solo hike. Where did she come from, and what part of her feels the most important to you?
Wow, that's a really great question. Because she's a complex character, like so many kids are at that age. They're straddling childhood and young adulthood, and they're contrasting because, like Sarah, She wants to have her own identity, but she wants to fit in, right? She wants to belong and have a home. She wants to make her own decisions. But when it gets tough, she wants somebody else to step in and help her make those decisions so she feels safe, right? She feels like she's not heard. So many things. And I think that helps her along her way while she also makes some poor choices and things she regrets, but she learns from them and she grows and evolves and discovers what's really important and that her voice is important and that one person really can make a change.
Absolutely. And loons are everywhere in this story, and they're more than just cool birds, right? What do loons symbolize in this book? And did they show up in your life before the story did? How did it?
Oh, I love these questions. I've always loved loons. I grew up with them in New England, and I'm lucky to go to a northern lake every year with a friend and visit them. They're one of the oldest birds. They've been around like 35 million years, and they have the most haunting, beautiful melodies. Their tremolos and their yodels will just pierce your heart. They just make your heart ache when you hear them. And everybody should hear a loon in person. They're so beautiful, and they're a beautiful bird. And so I'm really taken with conservation for them. And I actually volunteer with the National Audubon Society, and I work with birds. I help do education programs for young students with bird ambassadors like hawks and owls. And that's why they're also featured in the story with the Raptor Rehab Center. And so I think loons represent family in the story because Sarah's family has been broken up and loons are disappearing from some lakes because of some environmental concerns. And their families can be broken up, but that doesn't mean that they're broken forever. They can piece things back together. They can reconnect. They can make new families. So I think that's why it's so central to the story.
Very essential to the story because nature is almost a character in this book. And there's something so healing about the woods, the water, the quiet. How does the setting shape Sarah's story?
Yeah, that's a really good question too. I think because she is an outdoor lover and a nature lover, it's really shaped her view of nature and wanting to conserve it and conserve the birds, her special birds on the lake and the raptors as well. And the nature is like you said, like a character in the story, and she really has to go to battle with it near the end of the story and face her own fears surrounding nature and how we're a part of nature, yet we can't control it, right? But we can still enjoy it and be immersed in it and honor it and but also know that there are dangers there and that we have limitations with nature, right? We are not against what do you call it? We're not we're vulnerable when it comes to nature. We really are. Just like we're vulnerable with so many things in our life, with relationships, with family, and with making our dreams come true.
Your story touches on grief, blended families, anxiety, and growth, but it never feels heavy. How do you strike that balance between big feelings and hopeful storytelling?
Yes, it's a fine line to definitely walk because there are some heavy issues in the story. And but like you said, I wanted to also have some lightness in it. And so through creating quirky characters in the story, we have a lot of characters who live at the campground and they're quirky. We have Sarah's uncle Juju, who is a converted Buddhist, who always spouts off words of wisdom. Like, I need my own Uncle Juju, right? My wise guide. And so there's a little bit of humor there and hope and lightness with these characters in the stories that don't drag the story down so much. And so again, there's humor, there's also friendship, which makes it a little bit lighter too. New friendship that is formed, and especially with her friend Theo, who I think he's one of my favorite characters in the story. You know, he likes to photograph things that are disappearing. He loves the loons like she does, and he's just a very kind person.
You've written fantasy and adventure, but Loon Cove Summer is contemporary and very deeply emotional. What drew you to writing about real life issues for this age group?
Oh, I haven't gotten that question before. So yes, I've always been a fantasy writer until then. I mean, until now. I started out writing fantasy when I was very little after I fell in love with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. That whole series, I sucked that down and I started writing fantasy. But I think I was called to write this contemporary story in this realistic setting because of my childhood setting of the campground that I lived in, that my parents owned and operated. That really formed the foundation of the story, that I wanted to go back to that time of my life that was so nostalgic. And I actually did a research trip there 10 years ago. I drove up to the campground. It's a different name now. And it was like just being blasted back in time. I mean, all of a sudden I was a young girl again. I had my strap-on roller skates. I was playing pinball machines in the rec center and playing my 45 records and swimming in the lake and having all of those first experiences that tweens do, right? It was my first time fishing, catching my first fish, having my first dog, my first real friend. So many firsts that tweens experience that I wanted to capture, and in a realistic setting and with nature. I'm being immersed in nature. That was so important to me. So, yeah.
Donna, if you were to hand Loon Cove Summer to one specific reader and say, this is for you, what would it be, and what would you hope they feel after reading?
Well, I hope Loon Cove Summer appeals to nature lovers, outdoor adventure seekers, fans of environmental causes, but I also hope it inspires readers of all ages, especially young readers, to empower themselves and to discover that they can change things. One person can change the world. It doesn't matter if you're young, if you're only 13 years old, as Sarah discovers in her story, right? Yes. She does make a change, and just one person can be very powerful. But then also creating your dream and including other people, wow, that's like 10 times power, right? So,
Right.
so collaborating with others can really take what you do to another level. And so I really want young readers to go out and embrace their natural world and expand their perspectives from that. And especially with birds, because birds are everywhere. No matter where you live, they're in cities and meadows and swamps and deserts. And all you have to do is go outside, look up, see them. They're so critical to our world because they eat harmful rodents and insects. They also help us see if there's changes in habitats that could be critical. And they're also entertaining. They're colorful and they give us song. So go outside, look up, see the birds. That's what I'm hoping young readers will take from this and connect with their natural world.
Okay, it's time for our lightning round, our summer fun edition. Donna, are you ready? Okay, campfire treat, toasted marshmallow or chocolate square?
Go with actually toasted marshmallow because you can make it as toasted as you want and it's different every time.
Summer read you loved as a kid?
Oh my gosh. A summer read that I loved as a kid. Well, I'm going to have to go with the whole entire Little House series by Laura Ingalls Wilder. I reread that every couple of years because I was Laura growing up at this campground that my parents owned and operated. We had hogs, we had chickens. I would pick apples and feed the hogs and collect the eggs. So I was just like, I'm Laura Ingalls, because I just wanted to be her and live this rural life. So yes, that's one of my favorite summer books. Some of them are in the winter, but a lot of them span across summertime.
One word to describe Sarah.
Yes. One word to describe Sarah, the main character in Loon Cove Summer. Wow, you're really putting me on the spot. I would have to say grit. She's got grit.
True grit. Yes. Solo hike or group canoe trip?
Oh, definitely solo hike. Definitely. I mean, I go to the woods to be alone. It's like my cathedral. It's where I commune with nature. And let me tell you, my husband and I have tried canoeing together, and it is not good because we cannot navigate together. So never mind that.
No, it does. It looks easy when you're watching others just do it, but then when you're in it,
No.
it's difficult. And
Yeah.
a writing day must have.
A writing day must have. Well, I'm going to go big here. A cabin in the woods, which is what I do when I go to the Highlights Foundation. I go to my cabin in the woods to get away, and I hike in the woods in between writing. So Cabin in the Woods, must have.
Awesome. Donna, I heard that there is a new book coming out. Is that true?
So March 3rd, 2026, which funny enough is actually my dad's birthday, which I love that. Yes. So honoring dad again. And it's another contemporary middle grade called The Secret Winners Club. And it's another personal story to me because we have 3 characters in it, 3 different points of view, all 13-year-olds in middle school, and they all have visible autoimmune conditions like I do. I have 5 autoimmune conditions. And so these 3 friends want to be known for more than just their visible conditions, and they decide to create this secret winners club to beat out their competition in all their clubs, theater, jump ball club, swim club, and they're going to be number 1. And then everybody will notice that they're a winner and they won't be just known for their conditions. However, along the way, in becoming number 1, they cross the line, they hurt other people, and they discover doing that can make them even more visible and more of an outsider. So they learn a lot during their journey.
Wow, I can't wait until the Secret Winners Club comes out.
Thank you.
Yes. So, Donna, where can readers and our listeners find more of your books, and where can they locate you on social media?
Everybody can find me online and just really by my name, DonnaGalanti.com. That's Galanti with an I at the end. I always have to specify that. DonnaGalanti.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as Donna Galanti. I have a YouTube channel where I post a lot of nature videos that I do. And you can find all my books at my website at DonnaGalanti.com.
Oh, my goodness. Donna, thank you so much for joining me today on Reading in the Middle. This was a lovely conversation. I learned a lot. Hope our listeners learned a lot. And I just want to thank you again for being on our show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
What a ride. A big thank you to Donna Galanti for sharing the heart and hope behind Loon Cove Summer. Whether you're a solo hiker like Sarah or just trying to find your way through a changing world, this story reminds us that we're braver than we think and never alone. If you loved this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your favorite middle grade reader. And be sure to check out Reading in the Middle on Instagram for more author chats, book picks, and behind-the-scenes fun. Until next time, keep turning those pages and keep reading in the middle.